As AI continues to reshape the workplace, how can organizations harness its transformative potential? I'm Mike Loder. Tech Edge starts now. Welcome back to Tech Edge, presented by the team at AvePoint, where each and every episode we delve into the latest industry trends for business IT and their significance in today's ever-changing landscape. Now, in this episode, we'll be looking at some lessons learned and top tips for seamless AI adoption in the workplace. Joining us now is William Belet, the product strategy lead at tyGraph at AvePoint. It's good to have you with me. Why is it important for organizations to put measurement frameworks in place when adopting AI technologies like Copilot?
Yeah, I think having great telemetry is really important as part of that process, because you have to think about when it comes to having really great data, you got to have an intimate understanding of people's usage, and that helps you have a clear understanding of the value that it's driving for the business, right? So, in cases, it's no longer a matter of did everybody start using Copilot, but there's a lot of big scenarios where it benefited the business. So you got to be able to tell that story. And I think that having great telemetry is really the foundation of that.
Okay, so what are some of the most interesting usage trends you've found through measuring Copilot adoption in workplaces?
I think one of the things that we've seen a lot at organizations is when they're diving in, you get these kind of different pockets of people inside of the organization. You'll have those folks that just kind of run in there. They're really much self-starters. They're excited about what the technology can bring. And unlike a lot of situations, what they've done is they've actually potentially used other AI tools in their day-to-day, right? Any of us can go and use ChatGPT, or you could be using Gemini models. And so when people get their hands on it inside the organization, you'll have those folks that will just sort of latch onto it and instantly sort of get some value out of it right away. But the interesting thing is that in a lot of organizations, you'll have folks that doesn't necessarily come naturally. It's delegation is a skill that a lot of people don't always have a lot of time to practice. And so I think that being able to delegate prompts or pieces of work to people sometimes falls off the priority for some people who come into Copilot. And so having great telemetry lets you be able to look at the organization and say, who are those people who are succeeding? But more importantly, who are the folks that we can come along and help with that process and really enable them, whether that's through training and development material, or kind of touching base with them and getting them access to other folks in the company who are leading that charge.
Okay, so what does the data tell you about some of the major challenges faced when adopting Copilot within an organization? I think some people are, hesitant to change when there's new things put in place.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of hesitancy around what that data is going to be exposing inside of the company. At tyGraph, we're really focused on how people are engaging with it. So we're fortunate that what we're doing is we're really kind of measuring them once they've come out the other side of this. But we do get to watch people go through that process of organizing their data, making sure that it's secured and it's not going to really show anything off that it shouldn't be. And so the exercise of going through that, I think, really matures organizations quite a bit. Just having that capability to be able to clean house and have a good organization is really at the center of that. So
yeah, really well
absolutely,
said.
I think that's a big point.
I'm just wondering, what are some of the benefits organizations can realize after analyzing their Copilot usage data? It's one thing to have the data, but another to know what to do with it moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when you're having good telemetry on how people are using it, what you really do is you have an understanding of the value that it provides to different areas of the business. That's not always a straightforward thing. Depending on my role inside the product strategy team, I get a lot of value from Copilot on the day-to-day with how we're potentially writing acceptance criteria for our developers, or generating, let's say, like images or content that we're now going to share out to really motivate people to build certain components. But my use cases are going to be totally different from someone who's working inside of our sales organization. And so the training and the use cases and the value that tool is providing to AvePoint is very different in my circumstance than it might be for other team members. And it's really hard to be able to understand that and quantify that to the people who are making the investment unless you have that telemetry information to tell that story.
Yeah, and get it across the line. I think it's you've done a very good job of solidifying our understanding of it all. But just to summarize for me, William, is there anything you wanted to leave us with when it comes to integrating software like Copilot 365?
No, I think when it comes to telemetry, especially, we just really think that the privacy of the insights is something that's really important. It was something that I think AvePoint did very well when they ran our own program. It was cool to see them, even though we used our own tool to analyze and get this telemetry. AvePoint had a lot of control. We treated them just like any other customer. They could have set the privacy levels to however they wanted, and they chose a very high level of anonymization. So when we think about being able to measure how people are utilizing Copilot in the company, you want to be able to have those privacy controls in place so that people within the business have an understanding of what it is that we're using that information for and how we're using Copilot. But you don't want to necessarily be exposing absolutely everything in a way where it's seen as too much, over the top, very big brother. And so I think the privacy element is something that a lot of businesses should be thinking about. And yeah, I was proud about the way that our team handled that. I thought they were very conscientious about the privacy element of that telemetry.
Well, William, thank you so much for joining us on the program, breaking it all down so succinctly. Appreciate your time and hopefully get to chat again down the track.
Of course. Thanks so much.
This is Ticker. We will, of course, be right back in just a moment.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.